What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ink, Drink, Think, episode 20. For this 20th episode, a big milestone. Everybody said we wouldn't make it to this point. They all said one of us would be incarcerated for murder, but we're still here. Episode 20, guys. Oh, now we know who it was.
No, it wasn't me.
But of course, guys, for this monumental 20th episode, we're doing something a little bit special. We're doing a versus episode theme. We're doing Hulk versus Thor, a classic Marvel competition of champions. But throughout the episode, we're also going to be talking about other character mashups provided by Johnny, who was clever enough to come up with a bunch of different character pairings that aren't necessarily comic book related, but will be fun to discuss who would win in a fight between. So
they're all really stupid.
They're all really stupid, apparently. But this will be a fun theme for us to try out for a versus episode. But like I said, this one in particular is Hulk versus Thor. Odin's son versus the Green Behemoth. But as always, guys, I'm your host, Michael Pickard, and I'm joined by my wonderfully talented co-hosts and friends, birthday boy Johnny Wise. Johnny, you are up.
Hey, Johnny, it is not my birthday, and I'm wearing my Beans hat, courtesy of Sophie Bristow. Shouts out. So this episode, I really wasn't sure what to draw for a little while. Mike sent his thumbnail, and it's like a real fucking hard-hitting moment. And anything I was like, I'll draw like a cover. So before I even knew what I was actually going to draw for the picture, I looked at like old, like Hulk and Thor covers, like really old, and was like, I want to do that. So I weathered it to make it look like old pages, and like put like a Comics Code Authority thing right at the top.
Nice.
And got like the old Incredible Hulk logo, and like it's 12 cents. And then I was just like, I don't even know what I'm going to do for the drawing. I've drawn all of this stuff out, and I still don't even know what the actual drawing's going to be. And Mike's was so good that any time I tried to draw something, it just ended up looking like a poor copy of Mike's. So I ended up going for kind of the opposite of Mike's. It's kind of like Mike's is like round one of the fight, and then mine is like right before round two, when they're like wiping their mouths and looking down, and there's blood, and they're like, It's the bit in the Mission Impossible trailer where like Henry Cavill like reloads his fists. You know, he's like,
biceps.
yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, it's that bit. It's kind of got a Western vibe. I didn't really draw Thor at all, which I was a little bit disappointed at myself for, but I drew Hulk, so there's that. And yeah, excited to get into it. And tonight I am drinking a Daya Stout, which, as the boys know, I immediately spilled all over the entire room that I normally film in. Just everywhere. So we were a little bit delayed to this one.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Appreciate
And
it.
I'm excited for you to flip around the camera and show the audience. But until we get to that point, everybody, you know him well. We are joined by fellow co-host and friend, Nate Wells.
Hey guys, Nate Wells. Today I'm pulling a page out of the playbook of our not birthday boy Johnny. I drew like a whole page. I don't know why. I don't. Since we started doing the one-part episodes, I don't finish the drawing anyway. So I thought I'll draw way more stuff and not finish way more stuff.
It's because this whole show has just been escalation. We all just escalate.
Really?
Each other.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's true. We're gonna be doing entire books in an hour and a few months. But yeah, I'm imagining it as like just like a little snippet of like the first time Thor and Hulk might have met and fought. I did sort of like a modern take on Thor. He looks sort of Viking-ish, full beard, more of like a tunic than like a superhero outfit, but he's still got the big like pleated cape that I love. That like big like Walter Simonson like giant.
Yeah,
arcing,
right over
like,
the shoulders.
yeah, it's great. It's great. You can't not. That's just what Thor looks like. And I did like the classic Hulk that I like. I like him with the big old brow, the tiny little nose. And yeah, there's some dialogue in it that's really terrible. I thought it might be fun to like try my hand at just like some, Stan Lee dialogue. I feel like he just like threw out whatever came to mind sometimes.
Yeah.
So I did that, and it's not good. It's not good. So
That
I've
was
got a
actually
lot of
why
drawing
it
to
was-
get into.
It was why I didn't like Thor when I first read him, because I got like Avengers books out of my dad's old moldy comic
Yeah.
books box. And I was just like, oh, this Thor guy's a fucking loser. Everything he says is just like, thou art. And I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
that's
read this.
that's how I wrote him. Because that's how he talks.
Perfect. That's what I like to
He talks
see.
in that weird. Yeah, that's just how he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot to get into. Definitely not gonna finish, but helping me along the way is a Lone Star, because I pulled an entirely other page out of Johnny's playbook and bought cheap beer for the episode.
Yeah.
So we're doing good. We're Johnny is my role model, and he
I
makes
will
all my
never lead
decisions
you
for me.
astray.
I gotta get a beans hat now. You know?
Yeah. That's your
I'm gonna
life
get
now.
a green beans hat though, because I love green beans.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well,
It's baked beans in tomato sauce, or it's fucking nothing.
never mind then. In tomato sauce? No, dude. Just get like a Bush's baked beans hat then.
I don't
I
even
don't
know. A bush
I'm
is
definitely
not
not gonna-
vegetable.
I'm not gonna let Johnny make all my decisions. That'd be the path to absolute ruin.
There
Yeah,
was a
no,
moment there where I didn't know how I was going to transition into Todd because of bean conversations. I'm still at a bit of a
Yeah, we
loss.
led it down a strange path.
What's your
I don't
favorite
have much
bean,
to
Todd?
add.
I was going to say fan cast your favorite bean as your Ink Drink Think co-host, but
I don't see what's wrong with that.
That's right.
Good.
that'll be a theme for episode 21. But, of course, guys, rounding out our quartet, it's none other than the Odin's son himself, Todd Blackwood. Todd joining us from the
Hey,
Rainbow
everybody.
Bridge.
I am. Yeah. I'm doing a classic Thor. He's swirling his hammer. And I'm working on his face. I don't know if you can see that very well, but maybe I need to turn the brightness on my machine down.
You might have to zoom in.
And those boots.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. I love drawing those. I miss this helmet in the movies, so I have to make sure I do a good helmet on him. And yeah, it's gonna be lots of lightning exploding and all kinds of stuff. Really exaggerated anatomy and everything. I'm
Nice.
a
Perfect.
huge fan of the Simonson run on
Mhm.
Thor, as well as the Kirby, which I think holds up much better than people might remember. Some really good stuff going on there. It's a classic got wrecked by Vinnie Coletta run. The inker. A lot of people think that his pencils weren't as good as his other books he was drawing at the time, and then they realized that when they saw the pencils, it was his inker skipping, trying to save time, and would like leave out entire people from crowds and stuff.
Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, you ever heard
Wow.
about that?
I watched a video about it actually. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Just the
I think he was a
shortcuts.
serious deadline maker, so hats off to him. But I know people dreaded working with him at times.
I bet.
It might be why Howard Chaykin didn't go back to Marvel for a long time, but I could be wrong. Anyways, there you go.
Makes sense, man. And I'm excited. You're definitely going to be, as always, Teacher Todd, giving us some insight on Thor and Hulk, because I know especially with both of these two Marvel characters, as much as I love both of them, my reading history with either is very limited. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll definitely need you for the historical pulls on this one, Teacher Todd.
Yeah.
But of course,
I prefer Hulk versus the Thing myself. But yeah, it's a classic. Who's stronger, Hulk or Thor? That's a real argument that happened in comic book shops. I mean, even when I was growing up, you'd want
Gonna
to start
happen
an
today
argument.
here.
I like the idea that every future Versus episode is just Hulk Versus, because Hulk is just the most fun
Hulk
character to
beat this
draw.
guy.
Hulk is
Okay,
strongest
good.
when they're
Hulk strongest, yeah. Good question. But of course, guys, just to bring it back to myself real quick, because I'm a egotistical maniac. Like I said, I am your host, Michael Pickard, and Johnny really inflated my ego on that one, boosting up my piece for tonight. But I need to just accredit it to the fact that the Hulk is just the most fun character to draw. It's not a particularly incredible drawing, but I think it really pulled the best out of me because of the Hulk being the character that he is and the graphic shapes of these big bubbly muscles. He's just the best. But I'll flip around my camera here real quick. But like I said, of course, this is Hulk versus Thor. So I have this scene where Thor is mid-swing, striking the Hulk like an uppercut, and there's going to be this crazy lightning effect going on up top. I doodled a little Loki in there. He's not going to be in the piece when I ink it. I just did him in there just to see if it graphically worked, but I'm lazy, so I'm not going to be putting him in. But anyways, guys, question time. Who wins in a fight? Thor or the Incredible Hulk?
Man, that's tough. You know, I knew that was the question of this episode. But, you know,
Well, it's not titled Batman versus Superman.
I feel like I had an answer. I feel like I had an answer until I really started drawing and thinking about it. Because I was like, oh, like the Hulk beats everyone. I don't know. But then, I was when I was doing the pencils, I was, reading a little bit of Thor, revisited that the first like Simonson stuff where he introduces like Beta Ray Bill and all that. And I was just like, man, Thor is the, he's the god of thunder. Like he's
a bad motherfucker, dude.
And then I was like, well, maybe Thor wins because he's a god, and maybe Hulk is just another monster that he could beat. But then I'm like, well, the Hulk's not just another monster. He's the Incredible Hulk. It's tough. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I like it when Thor wins.
Yeah, me too.
I don't really know what I mean by that exactly. I like it. It's just cool. But I don't know who would win. I mean, it really just depends on whose book it is, which is, without ruining this episode, always been my feeling on shit like that. I'm like, it kind of just depends on who's writing it, whose book it is.
Depends on how indestructible Hulk is. In the Marvel movies, I mean, he was so virtually indestructible that you just assume that Thor would be holding on for dear life. Of course, they wrecked that when Thanos kicked his ass. I still don't understand that one, but
Oh, really? I thought that was a really cool moment.
Oh, it was a great moment. No, I mean, because I, figured, oh, it's all over for Thanos. Oh, wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so good.
It was really smart.
It's interesting to parallel it with a DC fight, which is the conversation of Shazam versus Superman, because Superman being much more of a sci-fi character and Shazam being a magical character.
Right.
It's interesting because I tend to lean more towards DC as a fan, but when it comes down to this fight, Thor being this mystical being, this literal Norse god, versus the Hulk, who is, this monster of science,
Yeah.
It's such a great pairing and such an awesome literary conflict to have, like magic versus science.
Right.
It's so compelling. And there's such interesting dynamics in terms of Hulk being sheer strength and Thor having lightning and the hammer and flight. It's a really great mashup. It's one of the best, I would say, in comics, if not the best.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my answer kind of to go off of that, my answer on who would win, ideally for me, I would say probably Thor. Because I like the idea that like Hulk is, like you said, he's a product of science. He's a guy. He's like a sci-fi rage monster. Whereas, Hulk or Thor, excuse me, is a god. He's a mythical being. He is, while Hulk is definitely larger than life, quite literally. Thor is something that's not even of our world, whereas Hulk is of our world. He's sort of like an extreme, but I feel like my ideal Hulk would have to be compromised in a fight with Thor, because he is very much like a man inside of a monster. and he is just another monster. And Thor, that's what he does for a living. He beats monsters, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think
I'm going
Hulk
back and forth.
Would be like if they arm wrestled, I think Hulk would win. Just barely.
That's an interesting thought.
But I think like in a fight, I don't know, I gotta take Thor. I like Hulk as a character more, if that matters. I feel like that's usually how these nerd who would win conversation and how they end up. It's like, well, I like Batman more, so he has to beat Superman, even though that doesn't make any sense. This one, like Mike said, this is a matchup that actually has some validity to argue, more so than most in comics.
Right.
And it is tough, and like I said, I go back and forth. I'm probably gonna change my mind by the end of the episode.
Yeah, I might have already changed mine. I'm not sure.
Think so?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to just whichever you like, and I sometimes like Thor better, and then sometimes I'm like, no, but Hulk's like a fucking monster. He's kind of like a Hammer horror monster in a way, and I like that.
Well, yeah. Frankenstein
like
is a huge influence on Hulk.
Yeah, we were
say.
saying before we started recording, me and Mike were saying that anytime I'm thinking of drawing Hulk's face, I just fall back on Frankenstein. Just that big shelf head.
Yeah.
That's all you really need. You're on your way.
I think that was a big thing Kirby had in mind when he created him.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is interesting because to me it's one of those areas where like Stan and Jack have very different stories about how the Hulk got created, and I feel like Stan's, God bless him, I love Stan, don't get me wrong, but Stan's story, it seems flimsy. Whereas Kirby claimed he saw a child playing with a ball, and the ball went under a car, and the kid went after the ball under the car, and a mom was watching, the kid's mom, and the mom freaked out and thought the kid was trapped under the car, and the woman ran out and literally lifted up the car with one arm and dragged her kid out from under it. And he was like, okay, in extreme circumstances, people can find strength that they wouldn't otherwise have. And he thought, I want to do a character like that. And he created Hulk from it, supposedly. And Stan's story is always different. He's like, wow. Sounds like, I don't know. I
just think,
Stan.
Yeah, like looking at him again. Yeah, like I'm a Stan Lee fan. I'm a Stan Lee stan.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hulk is a Kirby creation. I mean, just fucking look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a Kirby guy. There's all the characters that they created together. There's some, the water's pretty muddy on who did what, but I think Kirby did the heavy lifting with Hulk.
Actually, you know what I'll say about that? I'll say this. What I do think Stan came up with was probably the name. I think what I could see is Stan. Somebody was like, "What should we call it?" And Stan's like, "Groot, Hulk."
Yeah.
He's the guy. Fin Fang Foom.
Fin Fang Foom.
That is kind of a Stan Lee sounding thing.
Yeah, which is why they were such a good pair.
Yeah.
I also, without like pretending that I could come up with the character, I also find it funny that like either of them are like, this is why I came up with the character, when it's like he's just he wasn't even green at the time. He's just a big, strong monster. It's like, it's not the toughest character to come up with, no offense.
Yeah, what's the deal with the color though on Hulk? They wanted him to be gray, but they were worried about the printing. Is that what it was?
No, it was a printing error. It
was a printing error. Okay.
It was supposed to be gray and blue or something, and they accidentally printed him green and purple, and it stuck. It just was one of those things where like it was the more comics went on, it just gelled. It became his color. But yeah, it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, I had heard something somewhere. He's got to be green.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does really, doesn't he? I do like gray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but he's really got to be green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Kirby that said if they hadn't already made the Thing orange, that he would have been orange.
Ooh.
Really?
I heard that somewhere. I don't think I'm making that up.
Could be. That's interesting.
Time for the
That would just
official
be-
Ink Drink Think fact check. I'm kidding.
Right? That's what we need. We need a fact checker, dude. We need a
Yeah.
Snopes for comics.
Oh my
Well-
god, I would hate it if we had a fact checker.
You couldn't get away with saying things then, could you, Johnny?
No, I could not. I could not get away with saying any things.
I think you have
Right.
to wonder how much input Kirby might have even had with colors. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
he who knows if anybody would listen to him if he was like, I think this thing should be purple, and people are like, all right, well, you're gonna get whatever color we decide. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, who knows?
All right, you guys want one of my my character mashups?
Yeah, lay one on us. Absolutely.
Let's see. What have we got? What have we got here? Hang on. Pull this away from the camera. No spoilers. All right. Robert Downey Jr. Holmes, Benedict Cumberbatch Holmes, or Peter Cushing Holmes. Who wins?
Oh, RDJ Holmes. The dude kicks ass.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a brawler.
More so than the
Yeah,
other.
he does have
the
the
other
prolonged
Holmeses.
fight scene.
You mean?
I mean,
like
if
a
it
fist
if
fight?
it's like a fist fight, definitely
It's a
RDJ
fist fight.
Holmes.
These are all fist fights.
These are all
Johnny wants the violence.
Yeah, of course.
Not
You know
at all
what? That
my
was something
favorite Sherlock Holmes, but yeah, he would win.
Yeah, no. That was actually something my one of my uni teachers told me. We had to like choose a project by like we had to illustrate a New York Times article. And I was like struggling to find one that interested me, and then I found one that was just like an editorial thing about some guy who got mugged. And they knocked all of his teeth out, and it was like the price of getting mugged because he had to get loads of dental work. And I was like, that's a really interesting story. And I drew that, and the only thing she said was, "You like violence?" And I was kind of pissed off about it. And in my head, I was also like, "Yes, I do." You're annoying, but you've nailed it there. Yes, I do.
So in 30 years, when they do the Ink Drink Think documentary about how Johnny ended up being a serial killer, keep in mind this was the first sign.
Yeah. Soph gonna test. She was subdued to many a rant from me after that, walking back from uni, and she being like, "It's just conflict. Conflict is interesting in a story." I was very
That's
annoyed
true.
with it for a while, and I was mostly annoyed because she'd kind of hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, it is true though. Yeah,
I mean, it's
conflict is interesting.
It is, right? It's just
Yeah.
conflict. All right. Well, that Sherlock Holmes one was maybe too easy. Let's do a different one. Okay. Indiana Jones
Ooh.
versus Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd
I don't
have
know.
to go with Daniel Day-Lewis.
yeah, Day-Lewis,
I mean,
man.
Indiana Jones. I'm sorry.
Yeah, shit, that's a tough one. But yeah, I gotta go
Yes.
Daniel Day-Lewis. Holy shit, he's so scary in that movie.
He is scary in that movie. He could probably fuck you up. But then again, Indy beats up a lot of people, and you don't see Daniel
He
Day-Lewis
does.
doing that.
He does. That's a good point too.
He's like an action guy, and Daniel Day-Lewis in that movie he's intimidating and scary, but how many people does he beat up in that movie? How much blood is there in There Will Be Blood? Because there's only a little
Not
bit.
enough.
Not enough for me. I like violence.
That's right. I'm gonna go with Indiana Jones myself.
I don't know
Depends
where I
on
stand.
whose movie it is, though. Like if he's in, Indiana Jones is in his movie, then
True.
That would be great.
Daniel Day-Lewis is probably
Yeah,
gonna win.
because if Indiana Jones shows up and There Will Be Blood, he's just like an archaeologist, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily the action star. He's more like the
No.
old
Yeah.
guy from The Exorcist, you know? When he's in like
Yeah.
Egypt or whatever, Iraq, wherever he's at. And
Yeah.
Daniel Day-Lewis is gonna kill him.
Yeah. Interestingly, I was watching that today. Because remember for the
Yes.
for the horror episode, I said I'd
Oh,
never
you
seen
watched it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fucking great.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether it was going to hold up, and it absolutely does.
Oh, I think it more than holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the cut. It was called something like The Cut You've Not Seen Before
Hmm.
or something, and I was like, it was that or the normal edition. And I was like, well, I did a quick Google, and someone said that the one with like a little bit of extra content is marginally better, so I went for that one.
I have mixed feelings about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that I've seen it.
There's some deleted scenes, and it's one of those where there's like a good reason why it was deleted. But
Right.
there's also
Yeah.
a spider walk that she does down the stairs.
Yeah, that was what
I get
swayed
why
it for
it's
me.
deleted, but
I had
it's
to see
still
that.
like pretty crazy looking. But there's also I saw one where like the director or somebody added a bunch of stuff, and it was like borderline like George Lucas going nuts. It was like, okay, you're overdoing it here a little bit.
Mm.
The original's just fine. The novel is great.
Yeah. Yeah, big fan of the book.
Yeah, me too.
Genuinely scary, which a lot of books I don't find.
No, right?
Really fucking scary. Anyway, we're not doing an Exorcist episode. Not again.
Again.
I love talking about The Exorcist.
Me too.
Well, to bring it back to the theme of the episode with the fights, are there any founding Avengers
Who wins,
members?
Hulk or Reagan?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think there are any other founding Avengers characters who could hold their own in a fight with either of Hulk or Thor?
No.
Iron Man, maybe.
I don't know. I say no way. At least like for my ideal versions of the characters.
Yeah, right.
I think like Hulk shreds Iron Man.
Yeah.
Thor just zaps him to death. He's in a metal suit. And
That's true.
And Captain America is like a really strong guy, and he's a quick guy.
Right.
And I think
But
that
he's like-
collectively they make a good team. But yeah, he's like a guy you'd be like, oh man, that guy's really strong. Whereas if Hulk or Thor showed up, you'd be like, oh shit, I don't even have like a reference point for how powerful these things are.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Who else is a founding member of the Avengers? Who else was there?
Ant-Man, the Wasp.
Oh well, yeah, they're dead.
Black Panther.
Not a founding member, but would he hold his
dead
own?
too. No, he's dead too.
I can't imagine he would.
Wait, is he a founding member originally?
No.
He's from the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
He was
yeah,
the
yeah.
FF guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are like as strong as like. Speaking of the FF, they're like Doctor Doom like level like heroes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doom could probably hold his own against one of them.
I would think so. Yeah, like these guys are, they're like the thank God they're on our side guys, whereas like
Yeah.
that's the cool thing about the Hulk though is that he's kind of like not always on your side.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, it's interesting because like, we've talked a lot on the show about like depowering heroes and how like superheroes and comic book characters tend to be sort of like overpowered, at least in our opinions or what we've discussed before. But like with these guys, I don't have a problem with Hulk and Thor specifically being crazy powerful.
No, because they can still get fucked up
Sure.
by like other Marvel villains, but they're just like, and it's the two of them as well. So it's not just like one of them, like Superman in the Justice League movie or anything.
Right. That's why Superman is cool when he's depowered. Thor when he's just a guy with a hammer is not interesting.
Okay, me and Mike discussed this earlier, but the protagonist from Fight Club or Bugs Bunny? Who wins?
Oh man. Oh.
But bear in mind,
man.
though, as Johnny and I discussed, it's not Tyler Durden.
No.
Yeah.
It's the
You
protagonist.
mean the main?
So that's Edward Norton.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Bugs Bunny, man. Dude's magical.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
Johnny and I were saying. And then Johnny brought up the great point about how if you adhere to cartoon logic, any Looney Tunes character thrown into a battle is pretty much going to be the winner because they can
Yeah.
pull any solution out.
Yeah, they just have like a hammer in their pockets, or like you go to swing a punch at them, and they tap you on the back
Yeah.
and they're behind you.
And they're unkillable.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. They'll end up with just like a blackened face. From
Yeah, they'll
the
get a
back
big
of my
knot
head.
on their head, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
And then they'll just push it back into their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, cartoon characters, man, they'll win.
Okay, well I got another then with a cartoon character. This is less Looney Tunes, so it's tougher. So Patrick Bateman and the Cat in the Hat.
That is a tough one.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
They're
not so
both
Looney-
psychotic.
I feel like Patrick Bateman is gonna lose that one because like he's probably just a guy.
He is, but he's got a chainsaw.
He owns one,
And he's
I don't
ripped.
know. I don't know if he ever used it. Yeah, he does like 1,000 sit-ups. That's true too.
He does use it.
He doesn't have a hat though.
He doesn't have a hat.
From what we
He doesn't
know.
have a hat.
Okay, so the rules are the cat doesn't have thing 1 or thing 2,
Mm.
and he's not got anything hidden up his hat, and he doesn't go by Looney Tunes rules.
Well,
Oh, Patrick Bateman then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick Bateman is naked with a chainsaw.
I'd like.
with the sneakers.
Of course, yeah, and like socks and suspenders. But I think I'd give it to Bateman.
That's where I'm at
Well,
too, because the Cat in the Hat, without the, cartoonish level of like, look what I have, he's just a creepy cat. But
Yeah, he's just a
Patrick
cat. Yeah.
Patrick Bateman
true.
kills homeless people and their puppies. So
Well, if
Yeah.
we're treating American Psycho 2 as canon, which I think we all are, of course.
I haven't seen it, but we are.
Well,
Mila Kunis kills Patrick Bateman, and she's just like a young girl, and
Is
she
that
kills.
also Christian Bale?
He's not in it. No, it should never have been made.
yeah, I didn't know there was one.
We're counting.
Yeah,
it.
there's an American Psycho
canon now.
2 starring. It goes from Christian Bale in this like mind fuck of a movie about a fucked up rich guy, to a movie starring Mila Kunis as a serial killer who one-ups Patrick Bateman and like kills him at some point. I think she like kills killers or something, or maybe she just kills people. I don't know, but
Huh.
yeah, it's Mila Kunis, so it's
So,
it's
there we go.
Jackie.
So
It's
could-
Jackie from that '70s show.
So could Jackie from that '70s show kill the Cat in the Hat?
she's
That's our
ruthless,
real
man.
question then.
Now, yeah, Jackie, I think so.
All right, well, going back to Indiana Jones though, James Bond or Indiana Jones, or excuse me, not James Bond. I didn't mean James Bond. I meant Han Solo. I was thinking Harrison Ford roles, and I said, "Don't." In my brain, I went, "Don't say James Bond," and I said James Bond when I meant Han Solo.
Yeah, Han Solo wins.
You think?
Ooh,
What
I
does he
don't know.
have?
Dude's I don't know. He's a ruthless killer
What does he
Han
have?
Solo?
who like develops a heart of gold eventually.
So Han
Twice.
Solo has his laser pistol, but Indiana Jones has the whip. They have their iconic weapon.
What I thought you were talking about
Han-
James Bond.
No, I
he
said
just
James
tried
Bond
not
when I
to.
meant to say Han Solo.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's got to be Han Solo.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think Han wouldn't think twice. Like, Han at any point probably wouldn't think twice. Han, when we first meet him, wouldn't think fucking twice about
No.
just smoking Indiana Jones.
Probably, yeah.
Now, if we're talking about them sitting together at the cantina and Indiana Jones has food poisoning and Han is trying to shoot first, who knows who gets there first. But in just like a duel, man, I don't know. Like an Old West duel at sunset, like
I think it's got to be because Indiana Jones is not that great. He
You
usually
take
just.
that
I mean,
Okay.
no, I mean, I love
he's
the
a guy.
movies, but I mean, in terms of fighting, like
Yeah.
He's a yeah.
this is
He's a
yeah.
guy.
To take a leaf out of the Weekly Planets book, he usually just waits until like some kind of circumstance will take them out, like a plain rotary blade or something. He just waits it out.
Yeah.
All right, bringing it back. Darth Vader versus either Hulk or Thor.
Ooh.
Vader versus Hulk, Vader wins. Vader versus Thor, Thor wins.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think I'd buy that.
Thor could just, electrocute Vader and short circuit his system, but
That's true.
Yeah, I think Thor stands it. Hulk's not even getting close.
Yeah, no, he's fucked. He doesn't even know he's too stupid. He doesn't know what he's dealing with.
He's just gonna get his limbs lopped off.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
he's gonna punch the sword.
He's gonna grab it.
Yeah.
Of course, there's that great Alex Ross image of Superman fighting Darth Vader, and he's grabbing the lightsaber.
Oh yeah, that's so
Cool
cool.
image. I don't agree with it. I think that Superman would have lost his hand, but because I think in that fight, like Hulk's getting all of his limbs lopped off. He's gonna be sitting there, just a torso and a head, just mad as hell that he doesn't have limbs, and Vader's just gonna end him.
Yeah, I might be with you on that. And then Thor, yeah, Thor would probably win.
And then Thor, I kind of want to see that fight. I think Thor wins,
Yeah.
but I kind of want to see that fight.
I
Mm.
totally would like to see that.
get on it, Marvel. You own both of them.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's true.
I didn't even think about that.
All right, well, I've got a Darth Vader one. Darth Vader or Gandalf?
Oh God,
Oh,
Gandalf. Gandalf.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Shit.
you know what? Anakin might be the chosen one, but Gandalf is literally like an angel.
Yeah, he is.
He's like god tier strength in his world.
But also, it's so unclear. What can he do?
Right.
It's never really defined. What does he have?
He's got the flame of Erebor. I don't know. I'm not that big of a Lord of the Rings fan. I don't know the name of his. He's like the bearer of some ancient flame, and he can make his staff really bright.
That doesn't
Excellent.
mean shit to me.
Excellent.
I didn't really sell my point on that one.
No, you said he has a torch. That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I own a torch.
That's true. But could you fight off a Balrog?
Maybe. It depends what I've got.
He said maybe.
How much prep time do I have?
Yeah.
All right, here's a pitch for you guys. Johnny versus a Balrog.
Come on, guys. Don't let me down. Don't let me down.
I think you know how like he says you shall not pass in the book in the movie. I think homie's getting passed. Johnny said that, and that's the last anyone heard of Johnny.
Yeah, and I didn't even say it like strong like Gandalf does. I just say it like, "Hello, you. You won't pass." I don't know. You can if you want to.
Just don't hurt me.
Yeah. No, it's not me.
And the hobbits are going, dude, what the hell?
Help us out. Come on.
All right. Either Thor or Hulk versus Superman.
Well, that's one of the ones, isn't it?
I think Thor's got to beat him. Hulk, it's a hell of a fight. Superman probably wins.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think Hulk has the disadvantage of intelligence on his side. But Thor having the magic elements, it does give him the upper hand.
I think both of them are a hell of a fight for sure. But I mean, and we kind of saw Hulk versus Superman. You know, Doomsday's Hulk.
That's true.
Yeah, I think Thor's got to win that one. You know, Soups is my guy, but Thor's got to win it.
I mean, I was going to say Superman, but Nate's the guy.
I feel like you weren't, but I appreciate it.
Well, I read it. There was a thing about, so Superman has touch telekinesis, right? This is getting really nerdy now.
He does?
I'm gonna say
Yeah,
no.
so-
I'm gonna say no.
Well, what I've read is that technically, because Superman like picks up like a helicopter with one hand and it doesn't smash and stuff like that. So they've written it as technically Superman has like he touches it and the whole thing can move without.
Yeah,
breaking.
I hate all of those powers that they've sort of like back-ended into canon. Like
Just because they didn't write it well in the first place, yeah.
Yeah, because there was that thing. I can't remember when it was, but there was a thing too where like there was something with like it was a way to like make the glasses work, where like he somehow like disguised himself with alien supernatural powers. It's like no, he just fucking wears glasses.
Yeah. Just keep it
like
simple.
or like he extends a force field around his immediate body, and that's why his suit never gets damaged. That was a thing. And like, no, he doesn't. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Stop writing that shit.
Yeah, stop trying to not make it stupid.
It's a cartoon. It's fine. You know? So yeah, touch telekinesis, I'm not about it.
I mean, I thought it was bullshit.
You know, I mean, I get it because yeah, he'll catch a person that's falling out of midair. He'll just fly up and catch them, and that would kill them. But you know, it's fine if it doesn't because it's cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
For Thor, I actually have a question for you guys. Based off of how you're drawing him, and I think we're all actually taking very different approaches with the design. What do you guys, or how do you guys like to interpret Thor? Do you go more MCU, where it's kind of like a sci-fi take on the character, which is a little more where my design kind of goes into a little bit. I take a little bit of like Viking elements. Like the helmet is very traditional Viking. Like it looks like bronze, but like the tunic is very MCU with a lot of like lines and segments. But I know Todd, you're drawing a very classic inspired Thor take.
Yeah, I feel like the MCU version is too obvious. Like, I feel like if you're gonna draw a version of it, you might as well do the comics version. I don't know. That's a good question.
I quite like to go with costume, I usually try and like interpret Kirby kind of stuff, but like you said, Mike, with a little more lines and seams and things like that, like a little more MCU-ish. And then in terms of his face, I go a little bit like a thin version of that Endgame Thor, where he's got like the real scraggly beard and hair. I like that a lot.
Yeah, he looked good if he wasn't like, didn't have the pot belly.
Yeah,
That'd be like a really kick-ass. I really like how he looked in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's good.
If ideally you'd have the long hair, but I like that sort of like toned down suit that he wore.
Yeah,
me too.
And that's kind of like my ideal Thor. I kind of drew him in this one. It's definitely like a superhero comic book costume, but I wanted to go a little bit more like kind of like what Kratos looks like in that last God of War game. You guys saw that?
Yeah, that's always a good inspiration, I think.
Yeah, like Mike said, like going a little more like Viking with it.
Yeah.
I try to do that anytime like there's like mythological characters. I like to do the same thing with Wonder Woman. Make her look like super fucking Greek,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like the thing in the movies they did where it's like, oh, your ancestors called it magic, you call it science. Kind of a way to like make him a sci-fi character. I like that. He's like an alien more than he is a god. I like that.
Yeah.
But I also want him to look like a Viking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think part of my issue with the Kirby design, and of this is me using air quotes because, Kirby could do no wrong, if you ask me.
No, I think it's his weakest costume that he designed, actually.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Was like I think of all of the classic characters that Kirby was a part of developing, Thor's costume, like it's too Superman. Like it's too directly like, oh, I'm trying to like riff on that concept with like the cape and the blue and yellow elements to the design.
Right.
I really think in modern designs they've kind of pushed it back towards Norse mythology to give him more of that Viking feel. But
right.
Yeah, I feel like it's like Todd, you put it the best way. It's Kirby's weakest Avengers design for sure.
I think so, yeah. It's the one time where I kind of feel like it's begging for a redesign, but I really am stumped as to what the right way to go with it is, without just completely redoing the whole thing from the ground up almost.
Yeah, I thought about designing him sort of after like like if he was a character in like a Dio music video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would he look like? Because I really like his hair, because I feel like he's like a front man for a hair metal band.
Totally.
I didn't draw that version of him, but I really like the idea. Like his like the long hair, but like with the bangs. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Thor needs a beard though.
Yeah,
I like him with a beard. Yeah.
Well, especially like if we're supposed to believe that he was, worshipped by the Vikings, who, at least from our cultural interpretation, were like the most manly men who ever manned. I feel like they wouldn't worship a guy without like the thickest beard.
I like the sound of that.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He's a sausage man.
Yes, Johnny, great reference. He's a sausage man.
Is that a reference to something?
Yes, shout out to my girlfriend Alyssa. She very often is put off by character designs because she says they are sausage men, which is to say that they look too masculine to the point where they probably smell like beef and sausage.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the name sausage men.
Oh yeah, he's a sausage guy.
Yeah,
He's a sausage man. Yeah.
Batman to her is a sausage man. So
I bet he smells good.
See that?
I don't know. She's seeing the wrong Batman. Like Neil Adams' Batman is not a sausage man.
Oh, he smells that dude smells pretty, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't
Definitely.
wait. I'm definitely not cutting this part, and I can't wait to show her this part of the episode.
Yeah, that dude. You know, I feel like Robert Pat might not smell super good. You know, Christian
But probably
Bale
not
probably
sausage, probably just sweat.
probably smells really bad. I think Bruce Wayne smells good, but I mean, yeah, as far as like Adam West goes, that dude in the costume smells great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like bat cologne he puts on, you know.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
he's got it loaded up in his belt, I'm sure.
There's like fabric softener that they use in the bat washing machine, you know, that just makes it smell great.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's just cloth as well. It's just clothes.
Right.
I like to imagine that has no part of Bruce's input. I feel like that's all Alfred then.
Yeah.
I love that, yeah. And Bruce is like, "Why does it smell like this?" And Alfred's like, "Come on, man. You're going out, the whole town's going to see you.
It's lavender, Master
Somebody's
Wayne.
going to smell you. Somebody's going to smell you." Yeah, Hulk and Thor smell bad for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
There's no way the Hulk smells good. If you're interested, we could start jumping around to check out where everybody got to in the episode. So Nate, actually, now that I look up, has a BRB sign on his screen. So we won't go to Nate first, but Todd, why don't we jump over to you? How is your Thor drawing coming along?
It's going pretty good. A little slower than I'd like. I don't know if you guys can see all that Kirby crackle that I'm putting in there.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to dig up some lightning reference. I'd love to draw lightning by hand, but or from memory, but it's always harder than it looks. Might have to Google like an electrical storm or something.
Yeah,
But,
I always think I can just do it right off my head, and
Yeah, right.
nope.
Lightning's hard, man.
Same with smoke. I'm always like, yeah, I can just figure out smoke, and I don't know.
Right.
And rubble. I actually referenced a lot of Nate's drawings for rubble in this drawing because I thought I could just do it off the top of my head, and I am not very good at it.
You look at Nate's drawings to draw rubble.
I looked at a bunch of people's drawings and I was like, how did Nate do it as well? Because I remember Nate in like a previous episode. I can't remember which one it was now.
Interesting.
It wasn't an episode. It was his Superman that he drew for like a warm-up sketch where he's like
Oh yeah.
in the midst of loads of rubble. And I was like, that was really good. How did Nate do that? So I used his for reference. I'll only say that now that he's gone. I will never give him praise in person.
Well, he's putting on the headphones now.
There we go. Thank you for warning me.
Nothing. We weren't talking about you in any negative light. We're actually jumping around to Todd's drawing,
Awesome.
doing the spotlighting.
Yeah. And you missed it. Sorry, Nate.
Oh, damn it.
Better look next time.
So, Todd, you of course are famous for your collaging and you're working on 100 different variations of a piece at a time. Is the Hulk
Right.
showing up in your drawing at all, or are you just going Thor on this one?
No. I started a separate Hulk drawing, and I didn't get very far. I forgot I did it until you just mentioned it.
You might have to turn down the lighting a little bit.
Yeah, I did it in my sketchbook, and he's just
Oh,
standing
yeah, he's
there.
big.
Oh, he
Hell
beefy.
yeah.
It's very
Oh
cartoony.
God, yeah.
It's probably more along the lines of my Hellboy drawing. And I think I did another thing drawing in there too, or did I? Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out like big giant guys. I like the tiny head and giant body look. But yeah, I might do a Hulk drawing and add it in there at some point. I don't know, but not today. It's going kind of slow.
Well, it's looking great so far, and I'm actually really excited to see what you do with the lightning. Whether you do it hand drawn or if you collage in a photograph or
Oh well, I don't collage in photographs. But I need reference. I need to look at something because I thought I could draw it on my own, but I apparently don't know what I'm doing. So
I feel like that's one of the mottos of Ink Drink Think. I really don't know what I'm doing, but
pretty much, it's true.
well, here we'll keep jumping around then. Johnny, how is your piece
Yes.
coming along?
Going along pretty good. I've got Hulk and I've got Thor almost completely done. Did Hulk's face first. Favorite bit of the whole piece. I really like his hair being gross. That was a fun part of it. Work on that a little
His
bit
hair.
more. Yeah, just like that lank
Oh yeah,
Frankenstein hair.
definitely.
It's like the cut that no one would ever have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming along pretty good. Going pretty mad with the feathering on all of it.
You know what this is giving me very strong vibes of in ink?
Mm-hmm.
Dean Ormstrom of the Black Hammer series. Like, I feel like the cover you're drawing right now looks like it's from that series of
Ooh.
comics.
Yeah, I like that. That's very high praise. Thank you, man.
Very
yeah,
similar
for me-
texture and value work.
Yeah, for sure. I was also looking a lot at Bashima
Yeah.
for my just anatomy in general. I looked at poses a lot for Bashima. I like drew Hulk's head and was like, that's just what I want to do. And then the pose for Hulk around his head it took a lot longer. And I like the old style Hulk as well, where he's like kind of just a bit bigger than Thor, you know? I personally like him best. Same with like Bane, where they're just like the size of a really big guy. Like bigger than a guy you would find, but like
Yeah, a
well, I
guy that
guess,
you
like-
would be like, wow, that's a big guy. Not like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
holy shit, that's a monster.
Yeah, it's not like, oh wow, that's impossible. But like, Andre the Giant, you're like, wow, that's just a fucking massive guy, but not impossible. But that's just me.
I think Hulk should definitely be bigger than Thor. I think it should be like significantly bigger.
Yeah, no, bigger than Thor, but I don't know. I just like things a little grounded. So I like it when Hulk is like in the old comics, and like when like there's some Kirby drawings as well, when he's just like a big monster man, but he's not
He was
like
a little like wider than he was like just giant, you know? He's like
exactly.
just a
And
big, bubbly, wide guy.
And I tried to work in a bit of the physique as well. You can't see much of it because he's bent over, but I always like to draw Hulk like a fat, strong guy.
Right?
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I do the same thing.
That's
yeah.
how I like to
Yeah.
draw him, yeah.
Yeah, I never like to draw him like super, super ripped where you can see
Yeah.
every muscle. If I were to draw his
Yeah,
stomach,
like
there
a
would not be a
wrestler.
six-pack there.
Yeah, Hulk's got a barrel gut. You got to draw him like the best reference for the Hulk is actually men who compete in the World's Strongest Man competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the physique of the
sure,
Hulk.
yeah.
That's true. I hadn't thought of that. but
Just
you're
all
right.
weight and round shapes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
always draw like abs on him, especially like the drawing I have here. He's kind of like doing like he's kind of slouched over, and so there's definitely abs popping through. But I always draw like the bottom as like a little gut. You know, he doesn't have
Yeah.
like that bottom little like, spare tire thing around him. He's got a little bit of a muffin top, and he's got a little bit of a gut, but everything above that is like pretty muscly.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't draw much of his torso, but I did give him a little bit of a muffin top there.
Yeah.
Because I also struggled a bit with the pants. Because I'm like, they're torn up, so they've got to look a little bit loosey-goosey. But also, like,
Right.
around that leg, I mean, they're torn because he grew bigger, so they're, like, tight as fuck.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a weird one. The pants don't really make any sense, but you're not going to draw him with his dick out.
And why are they always purple?
Why? No one wears purple trousers.
I actually
No.
I like in the Incredible Hulk film, the MCU one. I do like the fact when he like looks at the pants that Betty bought him while they're on the run, and he's like purple, and she's like, they're the only ones they had. I was like, that
That's
makes
good.
sense. You
That is
know?
good.
They bought them on discount. I can totally see that.
Was that from the Edward Norton movie?
It was, yeah.
Wow. Uh, that movie's pretty good.
It is pretty good, you know.
It's not
Yeah.
as good as some of the other Marvel films, but it's not a bad Hulk movie by any
Not
means.
at all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people have this perception of it that it's bad for some reason. Um, Maybe just because Ed Norton didn't appear in the later installments, but yeah, it's definitely a serviceable Hulk movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's as good as the Ang Lee one, at least.
Oh,
At
it's
least,
Yeah.
yeah,
better.
Better
it's
than
much
that.
better. Well, here, guys, to keep jumping around from Johnny's magnificent piece, we'll check out what
thank you.
Nate has got going on with his Hulk versus Thor page.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. I did what I said I was gonna do though. I have the figures, the two figures, pretty much done. A
There
little
you
bit
go.
of like feathering and rendering to get done. Definitely a lot of whiteout because, you know, I just don't have a steady hand. But gonna do a little bit. I think I'm gonna make the hammer like mostly blacked out. Gonna do
Yeah,
that
that's
right
looking
now.
so good.
Yeah, this
yeah,
is
I kind of
incredible,
scribbled
dude.
out the hammer.
Let's see. Yeah, the hammer, it's one of those things where I tried to, when I was sketching it out, like make not necessarily like my own design of it, but tried to like play with it a little bit, and you really can't,
Mm.
you know?
You think so?
It's eventually like it's I don't know, I feel like it's one of those things like it's got to be Thor's hammer. Um
Oh, right.
there's
Yeah,
definitely
although
some things you can do, but
I went a bit more. It definitely wasn't my own design. And I mean, if it was, it's not even a design really. But I kind of like, well, for this drawing anyway, I liked drawing it just as a block, like without
Yeah,
the.
yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but you know, like on either end. Normally, it's a block, but on either end, it has like extra little bits, little
Mhm.
nubbit bits. Well, in this one, I just drew it as a square cinder block kind of shape that I don't always draw it as, but I liked it for this.
Yeah, those are actually the bits I'm thinking about whiting out right now because they didn't come out quite like I wanted them to.
Yeah,
But
see,
I'm
I
gonna
always go
add,
back and forth on him.
yeah, I'm gonna add a bunch of lightning like on top of it, kind of like playing around within the form of the hammer. So I'm not gonna beat myself up over it because
Mhm.
there's gonna be a lot of stuff drawn on top of it anyway. But yeah, I'm kind of digging this so far.
Yeah, it's looking fucking great.
Thank you. Yeah, I left a lot of like the cape and everything up to just like what I was feeling. Because I thought I was like, well, I could, if I don't feel like drawing it the day of, I could just like outline it and kind of like, if I color it, which I don't know that I will, play around with like some different shading in the colors. But I went ahead and just did it all in ink, and I don't hate it. It's definitely gonna, you know, need some whiteout like anything else. But yeah, so far so good. I think. I feel like I
Yeah,
say
it's
that
looking
every
great.
time. Every time we come around to me, I always say like, "Oh, so far so good."
Yeah, always with
Um,
the same inflection as well. So far, so good.
He's leaving enough hesitation that if he goofs up enough, he can go, "Oh, well, I told you it wasn't great."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I did that I kind of like accidentally did it and just left it is that so Hulk's getting punched here like really really hard because you know the God of Thunder is punching him, and I
Mhm.
have his eyes going different directions, and I did that accidentally and left it because I was like that's kind of great
That's a great touch.
Oh, yeah.
because I don't mind honestly if Hulk looks a little dumb, and
Oh, no.
and two it's just like a fun cartoony element that like his eyes would go different directions when Thor punches him because I bet mine
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
My eyes would go different directions.
If your eyes were still in your head, that is.
Yeah.
Right, my head wouldn't be there, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm liking it. I didn't get to any of the background, which originally, I guess, if I had stuck to my original plan, I would have been done, because this was the original plan, and I just kept going.
It'll be worth it, man. It's gonna look really professional when you get
Mm.
that background in there. I think it's gonna be worth it in the end.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's gonna be largely silhouetted. It's sort of just like a cliffside. There's gonna be some trees, just because I like drawing trees. and just like rubble, because I think Thor is going to be punching Hulk like into the cliffside as they're falling down out of the sky. Would sort of be the context for this, and then in the next panel, Thor's just zapping the hell out of, I mean, really both of them, but Thor's like immune to it because he's the god of thunder and lightning or whatever. And yeah, it ends up with like Thor's delivering this dialogue about how he's like, this is what I do. I fucking kill monsters, you idiot. How dare you even show up, you fucking moron. And he zaps him, and there's a big old lightning explosion, and he says, so too shall you fall. And then in the last panel, Hulk just kind of looks up at him, from like under his big old shelf eyebrows, and he just says, Hulk turn.
Oh, yes. Brilliant, Nate. This is awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that's fucking great.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it would be fun to just like, like I said, I'm imagining it as like the first meeting of these two. Just like take like a scene out of this imaginary thing that I didn't really write. I just kind of like the nerd brain came up with. It's like I'll just draw a page from the comic that I, stole, that definitely exists, that I rewrote, and I'm gonna pretend like I did it. Like, yeah, it exists, but I gave Hulk a beard. Did you see the beard?
And that's when we know it's time to wrap up and head on to my piece just to get it done with. I'm actually almost done, which I was not expecting. But there's a spot here and there that I have to touch, like down here at the bottom. Really early on in the episode, I got a glob of ink from my nib right on one of the areas I was going to leave completely white, which is one of Hulk's fingers down here. So I was kicking myself in the butt, like, oh, God, I can't believe I did that. And then only 10, 15 minutes ago, I got another ink blot right up here towards Thor's head. But luckily, that one landed where I was intending to black out a lot of this upper area here. So really not that big of a deal. So I only have one little area at the moment that I have to touch up with white out. But yeah, all in all, I'm really content with how this one's coming along.
Yeah, it's looking fucking great.
Dude, that's fucking brave to draw the Hulk's back, man.
Yeah.
That's brave. I hate drawing back anatomy, especially when it's the Hulk.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, like I like to think when we were talking about drawing the Hulk, so if I pull out one of my reference images here, or both of my Hulk references, the only two times I've ever drawn the Hulk, I have done him in more of that bulbous, bubbly shape. But I felt like it might be a fun contrast, in particular from the last time that I drew the Hulk, that his back is just this like shield of muscle. So like from the front,
yeah.
Because I mean, truly, like your chest, your pec muscles aren't the biggest muscles on your body. Like the two largest muscle groups are really like your back and your legs. So as long like for me, like I had the intention of making Hulk's back just this like trapezoid triangle shaped shield, and on the front is just like a ball. Like that's his gut, but then his whole back is just sheer muscle.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's looking good, man.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it's turning out.
I like the Thor design as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that goes back to this Avengers drawing I did in the summer of 2020, which was kind of a mix between the MCU and the classic Kirby look. So he has like the boots with like those like weird chin or the weird knee flaps on the costume. But the tunic is very MCU inspired. But my Thor does not wear sleeves. It's very much like his armpits are in full view.
Oh yeah.
And I gave them ample amounts of hair.
Sleeveless.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to show off the guns. No question.
Yeah.
I gave him on mine. I gave him like a detached sleeve. Like like you might see like a quarterback wear.
Yeah. Like the bicep band.
Yeah, I gave him like one of those. Just cause I don't know why. But like, I never really liked the for a while he had like the chainmail. He wore like the full like chainmail or scale mail, like armor under his tunic that had the sleeves on it, and it was fine. But I like him. I like him sleeveless.
Yeah, I use it's blocked from Thor's or Hulk's arm here, but in that design, I use the chainmail on his legs, just to like pull that element in some way. But of course, you can't see that here. But yeah, right now I am just wrapping up with the line work for the lightning effect. Doing a slight deviation from what I've done before, pulling in my final piece of reference, which was this Thanos drawing I did. Harking back to episode 1 where I drew Doctor Doom, I did this like straight line, like hatching effect, like to create this electric aura. But in this one, I slightly deviated in this piece for tonight. They're connected lines that are kind of like more spiky, just to experiment and see how that look works in comparison. And right now, I'm digging it. I think it looks pretty good so far. So definitely content with it, and I'm excited to actually be able to wrap up a piece in one night, which I look like I'm going to be able to do. So that's definitely a good thing on my end. But guys, that pretty much just wraps up this episode 20 of Ink Drink Think. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of meandering combat-based episode where we talked about various characters fighting, as opposed to our limited knowledge of lore for either of these characters.
Sausage men.
Yeah, these sausage men.
Settled, Hulk was going to beat Patrick Bateman, right?
Yes,
we
Hulk definitely beats Patrick Bateman, but does Hulk beat Kermit the Frog?
Yes. Hot button issue. I'm going to say yes.
Well, that's what we'll leave up to the comments then. Guys, if you could, please check out the comments below. Let us know who would win in a fight, Kermit the Frog or the Incredible Hulk. Listen, it's not easy being green. So at least they'll relate on that level. But as well, guys, check out the description of this video where you can find the links to all of the Instagrams of myself, Johnny, Nate, and Todd, as well as the official Ink Drink Think Instagram page, where you can find not only the finished drawings from this episode, but the finished pieces from every Ink Drink Think thus far. And again, we've had 20 of them, so there's a big back catalog to check out. So please stop on by, give us a like if you can. And on this video, give us a like, subscribe if you can, share it with a friend. And until next time, I have been Michael Pickard, joined by my wonderfully talented co-hosts and friends, Johnny Wise, Nate Wells, and Todd Blackwood. We'll catch you guys next time.